Hey gang, it's Annie coming at you with the fourth episode of Cooking with Annie. And today I thought maybe we could talk about soup and using up leftovers. So there's a ton of different ways to use up leftovers and or little bits that are in your refrigerator. It's one of my favorite things to do. I write about it a lot. And I thought maybe I'd break a whole bunch of segments up and we talk about one thing at a time. So today we're going to talk about soup. All right. So the way to go about doing this is to choose 3 things from your refrigerator that you want to use up that go together. So what I've chosen are leftover roasted red wine potatoes, leftover mashed rutabaga, which was delicious by the way, and leftover pan-seared potatoes. And these are going to make a kind of mostly potato soup, a tiny little rutabaga in there. And I think we'll end up pureeing that soup. We'll end up blending it and maybe not, maybe we'll leave it rustic. So the basics of this are, you choose your 3 ingredients, you saute some onions. So we're going to do maybe for a small recipe, we'll do half of an onion here, plus a little bit that was here, again leftover. So that's like maybe a cup of onions, and that goes into the pan with a little bit of olive oil, or butter, or canola oil, whatever you have on hand, right? Because right now I can't always get butter at the grocery store, so sometimes I'm using different oils instead, depending on what's going on. A little salt and some black pepper. So we'll saute those onions for 7 to 10 minutes, and then meanwhile I'll cut these pieces up into smaller bits. So the potatoes, the rutabaga, of course, doesn't need to be cut any smaller. And this is because I think as I'm going along, I'm deciding I'm not going to put it in the blender this time. Now, the other thing that I'll probably do is cook a tiny bit of, we've got both a little bit of bacon in the refrigerator and a little bit of sausage. And we also have a little bit of leftover bread that's starting to go stale. So I think what I'm going to do is, to go with the soup, I'll end up making some bacon croutons, and or cooking the bacon and making that one garnish and then the croutons the other garnish. But either way, making it flavorful. Alright, so these are almost cut up. And then the last thing is the broth. And we'll talk about how to make flavorful broth in another segment, but this is ready to go in when the onions are finished, and I'll come back to you in just a second. Okay, so now the onions are done, and we're just going to put the rest of the leftovers in here. The rutabaga and these chopped potatoes. Now all of this already had salt connected to it when we made it the first time, so no salting necessary. And then the last thing is to just add the broth. So I'll let that come to a boil and it'll be ready. If I wanted to puree it, this would be the time to do it. If I wanted to add some cream or sour cream, I could do that. Any fresh herbs that I had that were, like, say I have chives now in the garden, chives in there would be a good idea. But use your imagination, and until next time, stay safe, be calm, be kind.